What's up, everybody? I am BK, bkbangers.com. Welcome to another Sample Skool Sundayz. We are on episode 10. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone that has recently subscribed to the channel. The subscription has been going up, as well as the views. That must mean that I'm doing something to the likings of the community out there, and I'd just like to start off by thanking you guys. Also, if this is the first time that you are viewing, be sure to hit that subscription button, and once you hit the subscription button, the Liberty Bell will open up to you and you will become at liberty to be notified anytime we upload any new content on this channel. Alright, so moving right along, just for the purposes of clarity, this is like the third time I'm recording this episode. This is the third take, and I'm just being clear and honest. I didn't have to say that. I could have just, you know what I mean, started off fresh and you would have never knew. But anyhow, this is the third time I'm doing this, and I tried doing it in OBS. And for those of you out there that view this, that are content providers yourselves, you know what the software OBS is, and you know what ScreenFlow is. So I did it in OBS originally, and I tried to edit it in ScreenFlow, and for some reason, like, the audio wasn't syncing with the visuals, so I pretty much just had to do this again. So I'm back here doing it yet again. Sound like a broken record to myself, but not to you guys, because I'm a whole out on being redundant. But this episode was inspired by MG the Future from MachineMasters.com. Well, he's affiliated with MachineMasters.com, but he also has his own channel. I believe it's MG the Future. You could go ahead and check him out. But he recently uploaded a video about interpolation and how to go about doing interpolations, and he was using Ableton. But I use Studio One, so I thought that I'd do something similar for this episode of Sample Skool Sundayz. I believe we're on episode 10. So it's a little bit different than what we normally do and how I normally function within the episodes. This episode, I'm just showing you guys more so how to go about doing interpolations, and also explaining to you what interpolations are. So for the most part, interpolations are basically playbacks of, interpolations are sampling, but you're not just sampling the sampling and, you know, chopping it up and playing it out. Interpolating a sample is taking the sample and replaying the sample with different instruments. You might have drummers come in and play the drums over. This particular sample was flute based, so you might have, you know, someone who plays woodwinds come in and play the flute. There's some strings and piano, so you have those players come in and play out the song. You know, key for key, bar for bar, everything is replayed, and then the producer, i.e. me, would then go in and chop up the sample, or chop up what they just played, or leave it the way it is and just produce a song. You know, that's what interpolations are. And for most of the new generation of music consumers, they don't there's not like hard physical copies. Like, most music stores are closed down. You know, Best Buy, Target, A couple of stores still sell CDs, not many vinyls. But you know, most people, they consuming music by streaming from iTunes or purchasing their albums or EPs from off of iTunes or any of the other leading music. What would you call those? I don't even know what you call an iTunes, but libraries. There you go. Most new consumers, from, you know, the ages vary, but everyone nowadays in 2017 is consuming their music from music streaming libraries, whether it be purchased just the single album itself, a single one song, or they're purchasing a streaming service. All right, with all that said, I said all of that to make the example of most of you who are streaming don't know what credits are, and you're not reading like a credit. Before, there was a pamphlet or an insert, and you would read it, and then you'll see artist A, producer B, in song, sample, interpolation, and you will read them out and you understand, oh, this was played by such and such, this was interpolated from such and such, and you get it that way. So now that we got all that out the way, I started off with this sample right here. I'm gonna go ahead and mute out all this extra stuff that I got. I started with this sample. Alright, so in that sample, there's a flute playing that you hear. Further along, there's strings, whether it be a violin or a harp or a soft guitar, there's some form of a string. There's also a piano, and there was something else that I don't really remember right now off the top, but how I ended up getting, if you can see, let me make this a little bit bigger. Within the field of this event, you could see MIDI notes behind the sample, like the wave. And how I ended up getting that was, I used, let me see if it comes up again, edit with Melodyne. You edit with Melodyne, and then it gets the MIDI notes, and then you simply drag and drop to a new MIDI note. Undo that. You'll drag and drop the MIDI file into an instrument, such as like this last instrument that I have up here. I drag the file down here, so I'll unmute this, I'll mute that. Now the MIDI is not always perfect when you get it, and that's one of the things that I dislike about Melodyne. I guess because this is the essential version, it's limited. But what do is you'd go in and you would, you know, you'd say, all right, you dropped here. You say, wow, that's kind of low. All right, so basically you would take your time and situate the waves, the MIDI notes, to be on key with everything else. So I'm gonna play this with the sample. This may be too low, but then that might be too high. Let's see. Basically get the point. The point is that some of those MIDI notes are off, and that's because the sample was way high, and how you would there's a way around it, but for the sake of the video, because I want to close out this video and get on to the next video and schedule. But what you would basically do is when you would put a EQ on this sample and sample out all the highs. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just do it right now. I'm gonna do it. Let me see what is this though. What do I have here? See what instrument this is, because again, this is the third time I'm doing it and I got frustrated along the way, can't lie. This thing not opening. Okay, this is a Moog. Alright, so I'm not gonna get rid of that. I'm going to keep it, but what I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna remove the Melodyne. I'm gonna remove the Melodyne. I'm going to unsolo everything. Take off these mutes. And I'm going to add an EQ on the track. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna solo this track, and I'm gonna find, you see right here, there's definitely some bass in this. So what I'll do is I'll put a high cut, a high pass filter. Man, I don't get nothing. I'm not getting anything off of that. Cut it too far. Default. Let's see. See, I don't want nothing but these low notes. I just wish it would be more pronounced. Alright. that's kind of it. I don't want none of these high notes in here. All I want is these. Now, those notes are very, very low, and I should bring it up with the EQ a little bit. Alright, those notes are very low. It might not even pick up in Melodyne. Let's try it out though. Alright, so we're gonna edit with Melodyne. Monophonic detection. No, I don't want it on monophonic. I want it on polyphonic, which is still good because it's still quarter. Let me see. Where's that? Algorithm, melodic. Yeah, that's right. So you see it still picked it up as A minor, and it pretty much picked up everything still, and it doesn't look as if it picked up the low notes. It still picked up everything. You see, there's a way to do it where it picks up only the lower octaves. But for the sake of this video, being that is the same thing that it just did, that was a waste of time. Alright, so scratch that idea. Remove this. Remove Melodyne. So pretty much what you do at this point is now you'd mute the sample and you'd see what you Alright, so this is not the greatest example of doing an interpolation, but it is an interpolation nonetheless. And throughout the week, the course of this week, I'm going to do I'm gonna play around with this whole concept of doing interpolations. I may do a couple live casts doing it, testing it out. Maybe the sample wasn't the best sample to interpolate nonetheless, but the idea is still there. You'd use Melodyne to capture the MIDI notes and then drop the MIDI notes on instruments, and on those instruments, the instruments would be similar instruments to what of the sample, and then you chop and rearrange the you would chop up and rearrange what you have. So I'm gonna test that out real quick and see if I could come up with something really fast, and on the flip side of this, I'll have something. If I don't come up with anything, then that'll just be the end of the this episode. Alright, it's your boy BK, bkbangers.com. Thank y'all so much for y'all subscription. Thank y'all for y'all patience as well, because this one is a little bit different for me and you, because I know you're used to something else from me within Sample Skool Sundayz. Alright, but it's Sample Skool, so you gotta learn something. Alright, peace. Catch you on the flip. Alright, so I got this little loop going. It's not the best loop, but for the sake of the episode, I'm working, I'm grinding. So this is the loop. I'll play it without the sample. Well, I just play the sample and then I play the other instruments. Alright, it's not the best. Definitely isn't the best. But I've heard worse. Nonetheless. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the instruments as it go. I'm gonna set up this routing situation. Routing. I'm going to send these to their own track. Add bus. I'm gonna send this to a bus channel. I'm gonna name it sample band or band sample. We have that, so then I'm gonna process all of them at the same time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some sort of something. I'm not sure right now because I'm thinking off the top, but I'm gonna add something and it's gonna be dope. Alright, so on the flip side, you'll catch it. Alright y'all, so at this point we have a different sounding everything, because I did some processing to the events and now it sounds completely different than of what it sounded like prior. I should have kept the I went ahead and I deleted all that extra stuff. Versus brother polite, debate, good men. Alright, I gotta catch that. So yeah, you could go back in the video and check out what it sounded like before. I might when I chop it up, I might, you know, place it somewhere before this. Alright, so this is what it sounds like now. And this is with, that's with no effects. Alright, so there's pretty much just like a vast majority of things that you could do when it comes to interpolating a sample. So the next interpolation we're gonna do, we're gonna interpolate a drum pattern. Is we're gonna add in some drums to see if we can make this into something. Alright, so it's your boy BK, bkbangers.com. I know I say my name a lot, but catch y'all on the flip. Alright, so I found a drum percussion loop from Sound Oracle recent release. It's called Percussion Loops, Oracle Percussion Loops. It's over at soundoracle.net, and I went ahead and I tuned it to fit this tempo. Alright, so I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna solo it. Alright, that's basically it. So what we'll do now is we will edit with Melodyne. We will redetect it and get percussive and we will drag and drop that to an instrument. We'll put it on the MPC for now. But what that did was basically it gave me MIDI notes, so you could basically know by this where the you could see it caught the swing and the groove. So the snare is slightly off of the 2 beat. So what we'll do now is we'll remove Melodyne. We could take it one step further and we can use the groove of, we can quantize to the groove of this this track. Did it do it? Hold on. Add groove pattern, yes. Don't look like it did it. Definitely did something. Alright, so it definitely added the groove to the to everything. And what I can do, when you have this groove selected, you can see here that it's on the groove of this track, whatever this track name is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if all the instruments, I'm gonna quantize them by pressing Q. Make this a little bigger so we could see. And they're all quantized to the groove of the drum. But that's a little bit too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep that I'm gonna bounce that, get off of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find some drums real quick and I'm gonna lay them on top of this. Alright, so I went ahead and I found some drums and I laid the drums down. I'm gonna let you hear it. I used the groove from the percussion loop. All these drums come out of Infernal Drums, by the way. In case you're asking, the sub 808 drum though, it came from Savage 808. It's the subs from the homie Concrete Zebra over at Studio One Tutorials, Craftmaster Productions. Alright, so I'm gonna play it so you guys can hear it. Alright, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna set up the routing for these drums. I'm gonna send them to their own bus. I'm gonna name that drums. And I'm also gonna color them. Whoa, we don't deal with pink. Add a filter bus. I add a filter bypass. I'm not sure how low we are in this video, but it'll be edited up. But thank y'all so much for rocking with your boy. I add a master bus. Master. Alright, so all the drums are routed. So at this point, wait, hold up, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. What happened to this part of the, what? Hold on. Oh, excuse me. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's much more that can go down with this track right here. I don't know what category you would or genre you would place this track in currently at its current state. I'd say it's leaning towards the trap. The bass line, the sub 808, it needs some help. I just did that real quick off camera to show you that it could have a subtone and how it will work with the song. Alright, so you know, that's pretty much my time today. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode 10, Interpolations, Sample Skool Sundayz. I am BK, bkbangers.com. Thank y'all so much. Shout out to NG the Future. If you catch this one, just know that you are an inspiration, my man, and I definitely found some good use of that interpolation video you posted up, and I utilized it with this episode of Sample Skool Sundayz, and I'm going to continue to utilize it with all my sampling that I do from now on. It's something that I did before, but I never quite grasped it like that, you know, as far as using Melodyne, because I use Studio One. So using Melodyne, I have the essential version of it, and it's quite basic basically, and it could do much more. I know the advanced version of Melodyne, it does way more, but nonetheless, I was able to use the sample, find the tone of the sample, pull MIDI notes from the sample, replay the sample, and it became a whole new version of what of my song. So that's pretty much it. Do remember that music is life. It is your DNA. Keep banging. Till next time. Peace, love, and light. Peace.